I guess. Okay. I guess that's what's gonna happen in MMA. All right. I guess Brock Lesnar. I guess Tyron Woodley and Jorge Masvidal are training together.
My legs are covered in CBD icy hot, so I can't hear a word you're saying.
You're just a prop today.
Yeah.
All right. Every 30 seconds, just shout out an opinion that you have.
Okay.
If you okay, yeah. All right.
Perfect.
So much to cover, so much to talk about, but we're not going to.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to talk about basketball. So, my Miami Heat are going to win the NBA championship this year. It's a foregone conclusion. We already won Game 1 against the Bucks. What do you think, the Lakers are going to beat us?
Does Scottie Pippen still play shortstop?
Yeah. What are you like? What is this? Who do you think you are? NBA expert. We're sweeping everybody all the way to the chip. That's all I gotta say. And I'm great. Like, for those of you who don't know, I'm great with predictions on this show. When I predict something, it happens. So I'm telling you ask Joey. I won't look at him, but ask him. I'm telling you right now, the Miami Heat are going to be NBA champions. And I don't think they're going to lose another game. That's my prediction. Anyway, Joey, what's happening in the MMA world? Tell the people.
Other than this hallucinogenic state that the CBD cream has me in, yeah, so Brock Lesnar is apparently coming back, and apparently Dana White has approved him fighting John Jones if they both want it, which, yeah, that's madness there. That's some guerrilla warfare. And then we have...
By guerrilla, he didn't mean guerrilla like undercover militia. He meant guerrilla like the animal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you military strategy enthusiasts.
Exactly. Yeah. Those
we know you're out there.
Big population of our show, actually.
Yeah, a lot of our disciples are military strategic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we have that. Like you mentioned earlier, Woodley and Usman teaming up, joining forces
Masvidal.
for... Oh, yeah, sorry.
CBD creams got you.
Yeah, Masvidal and Woodley joining forces in preparation for T. Wood versus Covington, which is pretty fascinating. Because now... I guess we'll get right into that for a second. What happens if Covington, which based off of Woodley's recent performances and Covington's recent performances, it wouldn't be an absurd thing to put out, like prediction to put out there that Covington could come out there and really mop the floor with T. Wood. And it's like, what happens if T. Wood and Masvidal put together a camp and whatnot, and then Colby just comes out and mops the floor with him still?
Then you get Colby, Masvidal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Masvidal's back in the title picture. It'd be perfect if he beats Nate and then he beats Colby. That's a perfect 1-2 before the champ again.
Right.
Because he's not going to fight Leon.
Well,
should just...
Yeah, that's so crazy. That's another thing I wanted to get to as well. Like, what's going on with Leon? How is this guy just like the number one contender for like 2 years?
I feel terrible.
But at what point do you have to stop feeling terrible? Like, can this guy just fight somebody and just shut everybody up and really just put himself in that position?
He should fight Hazmat.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Anyways, moving on. Back to NBA.
Yeah.
No, poor Leon does not want
Let's talk about the 1998 three-point contest.
Yeah.
Could you name the contestants of that year? 98. Steve Kerr would have had to have been in the 98. No. Was he retired? No, Steve Kerr was there in 98. That was the championship year for the Bulls.
Nah, but... Oh, 98, yes.
Yeah, if Steve Kerr wasn't in the three-point contest in 98, I will riot.
Well, back to Hamzat. Yeah, Hamzat has some vlog company doing some little production around him right now, it appears. I don't know if it's like a permanent thing or was temporary, but they're doing like some vlogs of that All-Star gym. and it's pretty interesting. And there's a decent amount of training footage in there, and oh my god, he hit this takedown entry. I think I might have sent it to you on Instagram.
He span around, spinning back.
Jab, like, drops to the ground and spins. Yeah, it was crazy. Into a double. Yeah, nasty stuff. But back to the welterweight division.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We have, Leon, who's kind of just got himself quarantined while the title picture shakes out. And as this, like, tournament is almost forming, we have, like, a BMF tournament of its own type with, like, with the recent announcement, we haven't even really addressed it too much, with Diaz Masvidal 2 in the works. So we've got Woodley Covington and Masvidal versus Diaz. So it would really make sense for this to be a little
But the problem is this. Masvidal and Diaz, and you guys know me, I'm rooting for Masvidal all the way. I want Masvidal to win the belt. But that fight should not be a contender fight. Maybe for Masvidal, but not for Diaz. No.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a contender fight for a contender fight.
But even
a little four-header. No, if
you think Diaz,
if Diaz beats Masvidal and then beats the winner of Covington and Woodley,
he has to beat both.
Right. Okay. I'm saying the winner of those two fights, because neither one of those would.
That's fair.
Because let's get into them on an individual level.
That's fair, I think.
Covington and Woodley, both coming off of losses. Then you go to the other side of this four-man bracket that we have forming.
Both coming off of
Masvidal Diaz, both coming off of losses. So nobody in this picture is in line to take that direct next step with a win. But they're all big enough names and relevant enough to where if they beat two other respected big names, that they're in line for a title shot.
Now, the issue is, though, Diaz, Masvidal is very marketable because they're huge names and they have the BMF angle.
Yep.
But it's hard to justify, Nate Diaz, who's been super inactive, fighting for a championship unless he actually does what you're suggesting, which is beats Masvidal, then beats a Colby. Then you're or Woodley. Then you're okay. But then you can always make the argument, well, neither of those guys, except Colby, is the true contender for the belt. Because right now you have Leon, Gilbert Burns. Those guys would be considered the true contenders. But at the same time, it would be the name of Diaz or Masvidal carrying that. And the name is based on what they've accomplished. So it's hard to argue, but I can see I can see Leon being pissed. But I was just thinking, they tried. They got him the Woodley fight. They tried to do something with him. It wasn't like they're just leaving. I'm pretty sure he was going to be in Burns' position and get the fight with Usman after he would have, if he would have beaten Woodley.
Yeah.
So it's not like they've been just here, go fight RDA.
Right.
They're throwing everybody.
Right. And at the end of the day, Leon's not the name of the division. If you want, there's been so many guys who have gone on impressive runs that have deserved title shots more and got passed over than him. Tony Ferguson's 12-fight winning streak with no title fight. It's
and 12 bangers.
Right.
12 bangers of fights.
Right. But here, I just want you to, settle your mind for a second and just hear me out.
Oh, no.
Hear me out, man. So listen. We got Diaz Masvidal 2, either December or January. So we're coming out of a season of some really exciting fights, and now we're coming up to this card where, people aren't giving them their respect. We got two gangsters at the end of the day, two BMFs going at it, and I feel like they're not getting their respect. But, then the fight, as the fight gets here, everybody's going to go from hater to fangirl real quick. Let's just put that out there. Come fight week of Masvidal versus Diaz, the entire fight world is going to be in a frenzy. Nobody's going to be everybody's going to be lapping that up whether they want to hate on it or not. They're going to be tuned in to every piece of content that's released around it. Yeah. So let that just be said. And then now, here, let me paint this picture for you. So, Masvidal comes out early, comes out strong, playing his little mind games in the first round, acting like he's going to go, playing cool, doing these things. Comes out, has his early success. He's mixing it up on Nate, has Nate hurt, drops Nate, wobbles Nate, cuts Nate. Nate weathers that storm this time, and this fight's happening, somewhere where a Diaz scar tissue cut is not going to end this fight. And Diaz weathers that storm, and he starts to mix it up, go for some submissions, mix up the grappling into the fight. Eventually, we start to see Masvidal come out round 3, 4. We see a little bit of shift happening here. And then in round 4 and 5, we have some Nick Diaz, BJ Penn-esque just ass whooping, and Nate comes out and boxes Masvidal's face off after his gas tank empties, and Diaz comes out and finishes Masvidal late in the fight, and then we get whoever it may be coming out of Woodley versus Covington, and they come in against Diaz, and Diaz just pulls out some early Diaz bro submission skills and subs the winner of Covington versus Woodley. How do you not give Nate Diaz a title shot at that point? How can you deny that man who's does that? He's already Nate Diaz.
I'm gonna head out.
So, folks, that's it. That's it.
During my time away, I was able to meditate on what you just said.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think that would be an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And it's also not very unlikely that it happens. It could absolutely play out that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's not going to... I don't think he'll beat Masvidal quickly.
But we're not going to see the same fight we saw the first time. I don't see Masvidal coming out and just running through Nate again for some reason.
No, I think... because remember, Nate didn't have like a full camp for him.
Right.
He was right off of the Pettis fight and was just like, F it, I'll go do it. But now he's... I'm pretty sure they're setting this for what, January?
Yeah.
So he's got time to prepare and become his, get his triathlete cardio down.
Right.
And when he has that kind of, he doesn't have... Because he was saying that he was slowing... He wasn't slowing, but he was pacing himself in that fight. And so there were some rounds where he was taking a little bit off.
Right.
Because he was worried about the cardio. When he doesn't have to do that, though... It's a scary individual.
Yeah.
In terms of the pressure he could put on you. I'm sure Masvidal's game for anything. But, like you said, once your gas tank goes, at that point, your skills go with it. When you're tired, your skills go. You can know... Look at Conor. Great jiu-jitsu. When he got tired, he got mounted and choked in what, 10 seconds?
Your weaknesses become so exposed when a little fatigue sets in. Whereas, whatever you're comfortable at, whatever you train the most... You typically train that a lot while you're tired. So it becomes subconscious and you're good at doing that while you're tired. But if you haven't done a lot of grappling while you're really gassed and tired, you might be able to move around and box and survive for 5 rounds. But then when you get into those grappling exchanges, it really brings you to another world.
Yeah, that's why at our gym, Professor Jason, he's Gable trained at Iowa. And the way they ran practices there, someone should have probably called the police.
Yeah, I could imagine.
You know how that is. You know how wrestling in general, but obviously a collegiate level like that and old school collegiate level. But one of the things is every now and then he'll throw in these little practices and where the goal is to get you really exhausted early, and then from then on, everything you're working on is from the point of exhaustion. And the theory, what you're saying, is true. It happens in every sport. They do this. They get you tired with conditioning, and then you work on technique. Because if you learn to do it perfectly when you're tired, imagine when you're fresh. Like in basketball, if you learn how to shoot with perfect form when your legs are not, when your legs are super tired, then when you're perfectly fine, you're going to be gliding and floating in the air. But here's my thing, though. People who have never done any sort of martial arts at all, never trained, or really never trained, serious training of any kind that put them, ran or something like that got them really tired. It's so easy to criticize people who are fighting for getting tired.
Right.
And That's the weirdest criticism I've ever seen. Like, I understand criticizing someone for cheating. I understand criticizing someone. I understand someone saying you shouldn't give up on your seat. Like what happened with, what's his name? I forget his name. You know who I'm talking about. Recently, the guy who got cut because...
For not getting off the stool.
Yes.
Yep.
I can understand people saying you should go out there and try to fight, though my response to that would be, you do it. Okay, you better be fighting or trying to fight if you want to criticize a fighter.
My response to that is, what are you doing in the UFC then?
Right, but you are
That's like in the NFL.
Right.
You're getting whooped by the Patriots, and in the third quarter, you're like, nah, coach, I'm not.
Right,
I'm getting tackled in the backfield every play. I can't keep going out there and ruining the way I look and ruining my stats. You know, that's like a fighter being afraid to go out and get finished.
Yeah, it's a front running.
It's the equivalent in this sport. You know, like, you get finished in fighting.
Right.
That's what happens.
But you're a fighter. So when you say that with an understanding of what it feels like. So it's a little less ignorant. You you felt it to an extent. And you're aspiring to that level. So you're almost holding yourself to a standard you don't see someone else holding themselves to. But when the layperson just watching at Buffalo Wild Wings criticizes someone for fatiguing, like, guys, like, fatiguing is not something to criticize a human being for.
And the thing is, what they don't realize is that from the perspective of the two dudes fighting, they're both exhausted. They're both freaking out. They're both in a fight.
Yeah.
You know, like...
It's not like a dance.
Just because one guy looks extra tired doesn't mean the other guy is picking daisies. Yeah. Like, he's still also in a fist fight.
I think people think it's choreographed. Like, deep down inside.
Yeah, I think people just don't realize, you know, it's like in anything. When you see one side's energy start to go, that's when the other team can either put the nail on the coffin or we can see a turning of the tides and a comeback. But you have to let that unfold. Like in MMA, if we want to see comebacks, we can't stop every fight super early. You know how many great comebacks there were back in the day in the UFC? Because guys would get super hurt and they would weather that storm and come back.
All of those fights would be stopped today.
Right.
All of them. Czech Congo would have lost that fight. 100%.
Right. So many legendary moments in the sport are just going to be robbed from us these days, you know, and we'll never know it because we won't see what's on the other side of it. But when we look back in history at some great comebacks, like, that's different than the style of comebacks we see nowadays.
Now, speaking of comebacks, Brock Lesnar. That was an excellent segue, Alex.
Yeah, bravo.
Brock Lesnar hasn't fought in the UFC since...
Got to be 4 years, maybe? What? Something like that?
What was his last
UFC
fight?
200 against Mark Hunt.
Yeah, so that wasn't... I don't think that was 4 years ago, bro. I think that was more than 4 years ago. Wasn't it?
No, because UFC 200
that's right.
was
Mark
Hunt.
Hunt.
2016, 2017?
Yes.
So
Mark
3.5, 4 years ago?
Yeah, I was thinking of another... I was thinking of when he fought... when he came back from his disease. That's what I was thinking of. But that was his last fight.
And just a side note, he was popped for PEDs in his last fight too. Just that's great. You know, add that little caveat.
Now, let's be clear. We want to make sure both of those guys are well juiced.
Yeah.
For this fight.
John and Brock.
Just let them both juice all the way. Because if we're gonna get a spectacle, let's get a spectacle of something of inhumane.
Right.
What we want is for this.
Let's have this on Fight Island.
We want this to feel like a fight that could never take place again.
You want Jeff Nowitzki, the Golden Snitch, to take his 2-week quarantine that time of year.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be great if he took his quarantine. Look, Brock wants to fight John Jones because John Jones is going to heavyweight. We talked about this last week. But Brock Lesnar and John Jones fighting has been made a reality by one Dana White, who said, if they want to fight, I will put the fight together.
Yeah, last night after the Contender Series post-fight presser, Dana says he's on board with 43-year-old Brock coming back from WWE.
Dana signs White.
Yeah.
Look, because you know what's crazy? Remember, in 2000...
We've proven to be unreliable with years as of the last 3 minutes. So.
Hold on. 2017, I think it was.
Okay.
DC John 2. John KOs him with a head kick and then calls out Brock.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that was like 2018 maybe.
Okay, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Though. So a couple years ago, this is when it was heating up between Brock and John, and then DC.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. Really, the last thing that heated this up was DC, and then
after beating Stipe.
Right now, it's been rekindled.
Yes.
With John going to heavyweight,
David
and now
does not give up.
John's WWE or Brock's WWE contract expiring obviously has now just erupted the whole situation, and now the heavyweight division has. Last week, we were just comparing it to the boxing heavyweight division, like which one has the best, like three-headed monster, so to speak, like which one has the better trio. But now Brock jumping in, that totally shakes things up. Welterweight and heavyweight have like these money fight tournaments developing that are fascinating, and that leads me to the next phase of the heavyweight money fight tournament, so to speak. Something I thought was worth mentioning. DC making his like debut back into the media on his show with Ariel this week predicts that Francis knocks out Stipe in the rematch. He picks Francis over Stipe, having just lost to Stipe back to back, and picking himself to easily beat Francis, out-wrestle him all day. He thinks that Francis comes out and knocks out Stipe. But he then dove a little deeper into that and, mentioned how he was able to knock out Stipe after he fought Francis and took a lot of big shots. So now his argument is Stipe's taken a lot of big shots in their past two fights over the last year, and now a fight against Francis isn't going to be good. He needs to let his brain heal for a year before he fights Francis.
I agree that he needs to let his brain heal. I don't agree that it makes his chin any more susceptible, because the argument could be made that then the third fight, DC would have had an easier time knocking him out, and DC hit him with that same exact shot that knocked him out like 150,000 times.
And at the end of the day, we can't just have this thing develop where the champ fights once a year at heavyweight, and heavyweight is just this big, slow-moving, clunky division.
He didn't get knocked out, so if you don't get knocked out, you shouldn't take a year off.
Right, he got wobbled a little, like he got cracked, but I mean, I don't know. But that DC's argument is the same thing against Francis. He got, hit a couple with some bombs in round 1 and 2, and then dominated. It was a similar fight.
I think what happened in the first DC Stipe fight was Stipe was not expecting DC to hit him like that, and he caught him perfectly. Whereas in the other ones, he landed that shot, but Stipe had already known he was going to throw that.
Yeah, and he just respected his
respected
boxing
his striking
now.
And was a little more evasive, even though he got hit. I feel like when you're relaxed, not expecting a punch, and when you are anticipating a punch, I feel like there's a difference between how you take it.
Yeah.
And so,
because Stipe, despite his humble nature, where he's like, oh, who knows who's gonna win? He has
excellent impersonation.
He has a mouthful of gravel at all times, but no, he has. He has just these. I don't even know where I was going with that, to be honest.
CBD's getting you, bro.
Yeah, I'm getting off track with these divisions where there's just so many things going on in them. But yeah, I don't know. I think that Stipe and Francis is massively interesting. I'm super excited for that.
Me too.
The thought I just lost. He has this underlying arrogance despite having that who knows who's gonna win, blah. He has this kind of arrogance about it of he doesn't care to even talk about it because he just already knows he's gonna win. Which is a lot of me just inferring kind of.
I mean, he definitely thinks he's gonna beat Francis. He literally said that. He said, I outclassed him for 5 rounds.
And I think that's kind of the energy that he was coming off of the Francis win with going into the first DC fight. Ooh. And I think that energy is what got him knocked out, not really respecting his opponent's ability to finish him. And I think that,
I want to bring something interesting up really quick.
Yeah.
Because I just got a thought, similar to what you had with Diaz. Brock and John fight.
Okay.
Stipe and Francis fight. Francis beats Stipe.
Okay.
John beats Brock. Francis beats John. DC beats Francis.
Oh, God. Well...
And all of this happens in 6 months.
I was going to say, that makes my heart hurt, but judging by the pace the heavyweight division's been moving,
DC's going to be 65
that
years
timeline,
old.
Yeah, DC's 46 years old at that point.
Hold on. But think about this, bro. Think about this. If Francis beats John, John's heavyweight thing's over.
Yeah.
He's going to go back to light heavyweight and go look for the Izzy fight.
Right.
Gets out of the way. DC knows he could beat Francis. Like knows he can beat Francis. Mm-hmm. That puts DC in the perfect position to reclaim his GOAT status.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
this is absolutely not going to happen.
I see this as masterpiece you're painting, and I'm on board for it.
Okay, great.
I'm on board for it. But I think the only way to make this happen, we bring them all to Fight Island, and we do like a 2-day tournament.
Okay, I'm
and
cool
we
with
just
that.
have these beasts
collide.
Last survive. A Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Oh God.
A Royal Rumble, though. I think DC wins the Royal Rumble. His high crotch, putting all of them over the.
Wow, I was gonna say you're gonna have to lower the cage to about 3 or 4 foot.
You don't even have to.
You could get them. Oh, you think
I think
DC's just
launching people?
chucking fools?
Yeah, man. I think he's chucking them over there.
Okay.
Look, I know this isn't gonna happen. I know it's highly unlikely, but really, it's what we or Brock beats John by some fluke and retires because there's nothing else to do after that. Francis beats Stipe and then DC comes back.
See, I think Brock and Francis is so interesting because Brock literally is just like, if you have a big formidable dude who's like got a high striking prowess, but you have a 200-pound pit bull that's trained to kill, and you just let that thing off its leash, like who knows what's gonna happen. So that's what Brock is to MMA. Brock isn't coming in and pretending to be the Israel Adesanya of MMA. He's not coming in and setting traps and bringing you to a place you've never been before. No, Brock smash. Brock is pulling his Viking ship up, and he's going to rape and pillage anything in that cage. You know, like, that's Brock's Viking mentality. He is a pit bull that you just walk up those steps and you let off a chain and you just lock the door and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, that's Brock's mentality. So Francis, yes, he has that mentality in a way too, where he is just this wave of ferocious potential knockouts flailing through three-dimensional space. That's what Francis Ngannou is. He's a tornado that's whipping small cars and SUVs through the air. That's what Francis Ngannou is. But then Brock is just this wild animal being let loose to just sick something. So it's like, can Brock get underneath that and, you know, just get in there and
look, you saw what he did to Frank Mir. You saw what he did to Frank Mir. Brock Lesnar is the white belt nobody wants to roll with.
Right. He's the ultimate spaz.
Yes.
He's the... Yeah, it's what... There's only one way you can take a guy who isn't even like a true fighter. He not to take anything away from Brock and his fighting prowess.
Mixed martial artist.
But yes, he hasn't taken the traditional amateur fighting route to then, you know, a regional pro route, and then, you know, he really just kind of burst onto the scene with very few fights. Like his third MMA fight or something was for the UFC heavyweight title, you know.
And he won it.
It's like something that is incomprehensible just because of the physical force he is. So we have to, you know, put that out there, that is really the great equalizer with Brock, is just like this physical specimen that he is can always put him back into the conversation of like, he's similar to the Yoel factor. You know, Yoel is always, you know, a good title eliminator or a good guy to step in for a vacant title or as a, you know, like a fill-in for a title fight, because who's gonna argue with beating UOL doesn't make you a world champion?
A dead man.
You know, like same thing with Brock. Anybody who can beat Brock Lesnar in a fight, you deserve the belt. I have nothing.
Previous champ, one of the beat some good guys to get it too. It wasn't like the heavyweight division was in this. I mean, he beat some guys.
Right.
Brock came in and did well in a division that had real fighters and contenders.
Exactly.
Like, if you respect Frank Mir in any way, then you respect Brock Lesnar, because what he did to Frank Mir, I didn't expect to happen.
Right.
Like, the first fight went about how I expected, like, looking back, a Frank Mir Brock Lesnar fight to go, where it's going to be, beautiful jiu-jitsu conquering the big giant musk oxen.
Right.
But then the second fight, it was like, those pictures of like seeing something get compressed? It was like watching that, but like at a very rapid pace.
Yeah.
So it was actually kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I hear Frank Mir's.
It was like the Hulk with Loki.
But I hear Frank Mir's kind of a jerk in real life, so looking back, I'm not as mad about it.
Yeah,
I don't know this. I'm not saying I know this.
Yeah.
I know I always was a big fan of Frank Mir as a fighter growing up, because I saw that when he submitted Brock. I thought he was really cool, and he submitted other people, and I always liked the jiu-jitsu portion of mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
I guess it was prophetic that I would do it.
Yeah.
But I hear some things about the way he is, and I hope they're not true. But if they are, then I guess I'm not mad Brock Lesnar smashed him.
Right.
He survived.
Right.
He's okay.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Brock Lesnar is not getting past John, man. No way.
Nah.
He can't be the guy to beat John.
And I can't predict that either. It's like, how can you say that is...
That's true. I can't say that.
Plausible. You can't predict Brock over John by any means. There's just so much skill for him to overcome.
I think John knocks him out, bro.
I
think John can TKO him with kicks and elbows, and look what Kane did to Brock.
Yeah.
And Brock's 43.
Here's the thing. Do you think John does it early, or do you think he olays him, gasses him, out wrestles him, and then beats him with a KO?
But here's the thing. He's gonna have to do it early, because Brock's gonna come out after him, and he's gonna expose himself. Because you see how Brock fights. He just kind of goes out there and he's gonna try to wrestle John immediately. Not because he thinks he's a better wrestler, but it's because it's his strongest weapon.
Right.
So John is going to have to engage him, and he's not going to be able to play games with him, and unless Brock is unusually coy and comes out and is like bouncing around.
Yeah, Thai style.
Yeah. But because Brock's going to definitely come at him with his head down.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe at the beginning John might be a little evasive and with his footwork, but John's going to just piece him up. Like, John is going to knock out Brock Lesnar or TKO him, or
I like that.
Wrestle him and submit him. But he's definitely finishing Brock.
I could see a guillotine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guillotine, I see that so
yeah,
easily.
like he shoots a sloppy double and John just cinches it up, either standing or he throws his legs over. I could see John finishing him in the first few rounds. And here's the thing: if it goes to the later rounds, Brock's not surviving.
Oh,
like
God,
Brock will tap out from exhaustion.
Yeah.
Like, no way, bro. Like,
for sure.
This is a whole different animal fighting John.
Definitely.
Because here's the thing: my prediction would be pretty much the same with DC. Like, I think DC would just have you ever seen a bear eating like another animal?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's how DC would treat Brock. He wouldn't actually eat him. He would just kind of play with his food.
I don't know.
100%.
I don't know.
Oh, I listen. I'm the mystical one on the show, so let's make sure we put respect on my prediction powers. I've been undefeated so far. All right. So when I predict something, it should be treated as authority around me.
Bro, look at them both as collegiate wrestlers. Brock was like right there too, and look at their bodies.
DC smash. DC smash.
All right.
High crotch, F5.
Brock cutting from 305 pounds to make 265 in a wrestling match.
No, DC will put the paws on him. Let's get it clear. He's putting the paws on him first. Then he's taking him down. So he's busting his face. Because here's the thing. Brock wouldn't go out there and take DC down. He's not just going to go out there and just take DC down. No way.
I don't know, bro.
No way.
I don't know, bro. That man is such a physical specimen.
He is. No,
DC was fought in the national tournament at 185. Brock's fought at that national tournament as a heavyweight.
No, Brock's a huge guy. Don't get me wrong.
You know, like, DC wasn't a heavyweight his whole life.
Yeah, but DC, man, like, I feel like his MMA wrestling is just superior. Like one, he's got the way better striking.
Oh,
and if transitive,
by far the better MMA fighter, and I think he beats Brock probably.
Yes,
but
I think he mauls him, bro. I really do. Like, I'm telling you.
Yeah. More than likely he mauls Brock.
I'll say this.
But I think Brock can get in there and mix it up with him wrestling early.
Brock has the potential. Yeah, Brock has the potential to mess it all up in the first round.
I think we can see a fun round 1 and 2.
Yes.
But I think definitely DC mauls him.
It'll be a good fight between two wild animals, but eventually there'll be one wild animal eating the other's body. And I think that wild animal in that fight would be DC. Now, John, I think it's far quicker. Just because John... But then again, the weight disadvantage between John and Brock is also ginormous. The only difference is John has this John has this literally, like, vault of skills that he could go to that DC doesn't have, that no human being has. He has this vault that he could just go in and access these moves, these angles. And, like, he's got excellent kicking, elbows, and can box.
And he weighs the same amount as DC.
Lean, though.
Lean with another 5 inches of height and 10 inches of reach.
Yeah.
So it's like they weigh the same amount. DC just has way more fat and way less limbs. It's like John's the bigger guy. John's the bigger, stronger guy. We've seen them wrestle. John out-wrestles DC.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen John throw DC around a little bit.
So John's going to wrestle Brock.
And I think...
He's going to put paws on him, wrestle him, and then smash his face until the ref pulls him off, like he did Gustafsson.
Yeah, I could see it going like John versus Chael, kind of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know? Like,
I think actually, let me tell you what's going to be funny about this. It's going to be a big disappointment because it's going to be a quick fight. And people are going to be like, this? Because the UFC is going to put their entire promotional train behind this, and it's going to end quickly.
Yeah. Oh.
That's my opinion.
But at the end of the day, I think this is like a Tyson-esque fight. You know, like, when you promote a Tyson fight, you kind of know what
That's
you're
the fight we have
promoting.
Tyson Jones.
Tyson Brock. Glory rules. Back to dream matchmaking. I mean, this whole episode has basically been dream matchmaking.
Tyson Brock, no gi submission only.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That would be bad.
I got Tyson.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Heel hook.
No, he's just gonna punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Disqualified.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Oh no.
All things, like everything outside of the fight game aside, what is your grade? You know, let's go school grades, A to F. You know, what is your grade? Obviously, this is a premature kind of our 3/4 grade, if you will. What is your grade on the year of MMA so far? How would you... Pandemic aside. So don't think like, oh, they've given us fights due to the pandemic.
Oh, so just based on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so... Alright, so technically this year we've gotten a Conor McGregor show in January. We've gotten Tony Ferguson. We've gotten... We did not get Khabib. We've gotten... Wait, did we get Khabib in January? No. Oh. So we haven't gotten Khabib, but we got Nate Diaz and No, we did not get Nate Diaz and Masvidal this year. We got Masvidal and Usman. We got Colby and Usman, right?
No. Did we? I think Colby Usman was the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken. But
okay, so we got, but we've got some good fights. We got a Woodley return. We got a heavyweight trilogy fight. I mean, I would have to give it a solid B.
Yeah.
I think what you're missing is the fans. No, but you said not to think about that. You're missing, you know what you're really missing? It's, you cannot undermine the importance of the press conferences. Like, they do so much for me. Like nothing gives you that like electric buzz in the air when it's a fight coming up than the promotion. The promotion gets you excited. So like, bro, a vivid memory I have from the Usman Masvidal fight was the morning we did our podcast. I'm up early listening to Chael, who had just posted 10 minutes ago about we're talking to George. So like that kind of buzz, that's the stuff you like in sports. Right. That's what keeps you. And the press conferences is that on steroids because it's a spectacle and there's fans and there's cheering and there's trash talk.
It lets you know, it just reminds you more so how dynamic this sport truly is and the fact that more so than any other sport or any other entertainment thing, because it is both of those blended so intimately. Like, they truly do go so hand in hand, the entertainment and the fights.
It's like the fight before the fight, the press conferences.
Right, and not even just like the Conor McGregor shows or the Colby shows or the Chael Sonnen type shows where we get a lot of this like, WWE style promotion. Just, those presser panels are so fascinating even when you don't have those guys. Even when you have, the Max Holloways of the world, the Volkanovskis, the...
You know who one of my favorite press conferences is always, consistently? Khabib.
Yeah, Khabib has the martial artists, the GSPs. Like, I love hearing just the takes on the fight and the perspectives and the camps and the, that intimate entertainment side of things, that behind the curtain and that emotional and energetic element that we get in the fight game that we don't get in any other sport. Like, occasionally we'll get the curtain pulled back with, like, a 45-minute sit-down with, like, a Tom Brady of the world or, like, one of these guys. But in MMA, we are so spoiled to where literally every big event, we get so much content and footage 100%. And knowledge and, like, insight 100%. On the behind-the-scenes. So I think that we've been robbed in a huge way of that.
Unfortunately. What's your grade, though?
So I want to get into that now. Haven't heard yours. Another thing, you touched on it a little. You brought it up as a positive, but Conor McGregor, and kind of looking back, I wanted to bring him up earlier when we were talking about the welterweight division and what we have shaping up there. It kind of looks like we have a gridlock with Masvidal, Diaz, all the big names at welterweight seem to be kind of locked up. So it appears that Conor might be in a kind of a standstill at welterweight where it's like, all right, now you just got to go to 55 and make something fun there happen just out of the landscape of the fight game. But that's good. The fact that options are being eliminated for Conor, because that means eventually just one will emerge and be like, all right, that's the guy. But anyways, I digress. Back to 2020 as a whole, which, is bringing me back to Conor again. But we were supposed to get a Conor McGregor season this year. And that's how 2020 started for us. Yeah. So 2020 started with the return of Conor McGregor. And for me, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, we can all say what we want about Conor and this and that and the way he does things and the way he builds a fight or whatever you want to say. At the end of the day, Conor McGregor is everybody's favorite fighter.
100%.
You can say whoever is your favorite fighter, everybody's favorite fighter is Conor McGregor. It does not matter who you're the biggest fan of. No. Conor McGregor's your favorite fighter.
You're hating if you don't agree.
That's it. Whether you're a hater or a lover, Conor McGregor is your favorite fighter.
There's nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
Because here's the thing. If your guy beats him, it's the only thing you're going to be talking about forever.
Right. Like, and if Conor did as much press as all these other guys, oh my God, people would consume every single ounce of digital content that comes out around him. Now he's just in that esoteric realm where he's a demigod that we have to summon with rituals to get his appearance. Like
we kind of do have to do. Dana has to do that.
Yes,
it's like you can't. He's so high in the clouds, you can't access. He's not accessible.
Right,
anymore.
you have to a certain amount of people have to mention him, and there has to be a summoning.
But that's part of what I don't like about
he's reached the Floyd. He's now outside of it, where he's transcended titles and promotion. So for me, that is really what I was looking forward to in 2020. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend heavyweight trilogy and all these other great martial arts fights and important things to the sport lived up to what I was hoping for.
Yeah, when I mentioned Conor, I was saying it as a technicality. Well, technically, we got a Conor fight.
Right.
But what we were going to get from Conor, we got robbed of. Because he was fully prepared to go on a little season, and we were going to get that Gaethje fight.
Yeah.
We still might, but we were going to get those fights that we were looking forward to.
Yeah.
We were going to get him going down the list. And I was really interested in seeing what a Conor who was motivated and re-energized looked like against a evolved lightweight division. But there's still opportunity for that.
Yeah.
He still seems to be taking everything seriously and training, and those fights are going to be there for him. So, but I agree. It's going to be a tragedy that we're not going to see Conor again this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it is shaping up, though, however, so that October 24th card, which is my birthday, which is such a treat now, we have...
Oh, my gosh.
We have Khabib versus Gaethje, obviously, as the headliner. And then that co-main, we have Poirier versus T-Ferg.
Oh, my gosh, I know. It's ridiculous.
We don't deserve this.
No.
We don't deserve this. But with this gridlock at 170, I love it. I love that Conor doesn't have an opening with any of the money fights at 170. Send him home.
Yes.
We want Conor to cut weight. We want Conor to be a pro MMA fighter again. We want him to do what all the other guys are doing to make championship runs. We want Conor back in the fight game. Come on, LeBron James isn't out pursuing a career in movies right now. LeBron James is still playing basketball because that's what chapter it is of LeBron James' life right now. Kobe didn't start writing books until after he closed his legacy of greatness. Conor, come back. You have to close this legacy out. And I think that, with him going back to 155, that's where we get peak Conor McGregor. That's where he's not cutting too much. And that's where, 170 is just his walk around weight, which we don't want to see. We want to see his prime. We want to see what he's really capable of, And that's scary because we're either going to see one of two things. We're going to see that he wasn't as good as we really thought he was, or he's the greatest of all time. Right. But those are the two options here with him.
But that's the thing, Conor has to, but it's going to be really hard to get him to do this. But he's got to move away from the spectacle and enter into the fray of that division. And if he does successfully, that's enough. That's a spectacle in and of itself because it's dominance. And it's beating guys that are, currently right now considered pound for pound the best. So if Conor goes in there and beats a Gaethje, beats a Tony, beats a Khabib, that puts names on his list nobody else has. He could retire the GOAT. Right. But
we need him to enter back into that season mode, which brings me right back to my grade of 2020, which is, the biggest thing that I feel we got robbed of. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend all the other good things that happened made up for it, and that just because we had fights in an empty building while everybody else wasn't having sports because they were scared changes the fact that we got robbed of exactly what you're describing. We need Conor to come back and be committed to the game and, let the spectacle be put aside and really recommit to just the fight game and that chase for greatness, which is what he was promising us this year. He was promising us a season.
I think
and that season is exactly what you were just saying is what we want so bad out of his career, which is the most important career in the history of MMA at this point. Yes. Whether, at this point, it is to the magnitude it's reached. So us being robbed of that, for me, really puts a damper on the year. And, I have to put it in a B- C+ range just because of that hit it took. And without that hit, I think it takes a swing. B plus, A minus. If Conor really has a season, who knows? This year could be an A plus.
Let me tell you.
Because Conor's prime, the 2015, 16, 17, the Conor prime, MMA was an A plus every single year.
Yeah.
MMA was an A plus every single year.
Yeah.
Just because Conor McGregor. A Conor McGregor show once a quarter makes MMA the most entertaining sport, industry, whatever, in my opinion, bar none.
It changes what happens around his fights too. And
yes.
But here's the thing: if Masvidal,
DC became DC became double champ because Conor vacated the belt or something like that. What was it? Something weird happened. Like Conor vacated a belt and it created like they needed a title fight for something. Like Conor literally would change the landscape of the fight game with every decision he would make. They would let it was so crazy how much power and play he has when he is fully engaged in this game.
Yeah, but if Masvidal Usman would have gone differently, I feel like my grade would be higher.
Yes, but that's such a big if.
Biggest fight. Like what I mean is that fight was a disappointment.
I love Masvidal and everything he has going on around him, but he can't hold a candle to the flame
no.
is
I'm not
Conor
saying that. I'm not
McGregor's
saying
career
that. I'm
and
just
like
talking
magic.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the year. So that fight was the biggest fight of the year, and it was a disappointment.
Yeah.
So if that fight's not a disappointment, I might give it an A minus or a B plus.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying it changes. I'm not
Masvidal
saying it
compares
compares.
to McGregor.
No way.
Okay.
Nothing can compare to McGregor.
Yeah.
The closest thing we'll get, I think, will be an Izzy show, but he's not proven for that to be all that interesting.
He hasn't. No.
So we're actually waiting for the successor to Conor. Before Conor, I don't even know who it was before Conor. It was Anderson, I think.
I think Ronda Rousey, honestly.
Ronda Rousey, but Ronda's was so short-lived.
She had a few years there. I remember like my whole high school career, pretty much. Ronda was like
her
dominant,
fights were crazy.
And I was like really excited for Ronda fights, like really excited when she beat who was it? Kat Zingano in 14 seconds. I remember being so excited to watch Ronda fight that night, and then she did that, and my mind was just like blown. I was like, who the hell is this?
I think I watched that fight at Buffalo Wild Wings.
I was like kicking wing.
Bro, let me tell you right now, that train crashed fast and hard.
Oh, yeah, that hit a wall.
Yeah, 2 sturdy walls.
But, I mean, that was like, if Conor would have taken the Diaz loss really poorly and then came out and got whooped again by Diaz, like, it took, like, that type of fall if that would have happened.
Look, I'll tell you what, Conor beating Diaz the second time was the best thing that ever happened to him. Because if he
for sure.
He doesn't do that. He doesn't get that lightweight title fight. He doesn't get the Floyd fight. Like,
yeah, that was his come to Jesus moment. That was his second life. He was reborn. That was his baptism.
Yeah, he made Diaz all this money, but he's got to thank Diaz too. Diaz also put him back over by having such a legendary, 2 fights with him. Now let's get into our fight corner roll.
Yeah,
is it time? Let's get into that.
Let's.
Who do we have on the docket today? And then we got to do our dream. Who do we want to do? Dream matchmaking first.
Okay, you want to... Oh, all right, yeah.
Because I got one.
Give me one. Let's hear it.
Fedor versus Kane. Primes. Both in their primes.
Fedor versus Kane. I like that. Heavyweight GOAT. Definitely. Yeah,
I got Kane, bro. I got Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, it's hard to go against the prime Kane. No doubt.
Scariest fighter in the history of MMA is a prime Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
You can't name me one scarier.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to go... This is going to go over a lot of people's heads or under their attention, maybe. Ryan Hall versus Gary Tonin.
Ooh. This is tough. Well, look, Ryan Hall fights in the UFC, so you have to assume he's a better fighter. But
who's a better grappler?
I don't know.
And Ryan Hall is better at fighting in the UFC than everybody because of his grappling.
Right, but he's got some good footwork.
Some tricky strikes
little
that
kicks,
he does.
karate stuff. But yeah, not a striker. But Gary Tonin. But the thing is, Ryan's bread and butter is his leg attacks.
Right.
And Gary does that in his sleep.
He's going to go down there and play with you.
Oh my gosh. What a fight. Yo, for those of you who don't know, this is a really good fight because both of these guys
world-class jiu-jitsu.
They like to essentially tear ACLs.
Yeah.
So they put you in a leg lock that tears your whole knee apart.
Yeah.
But they're so good at...
They're knee deconstructors.
Yeah, they're so good at getting to those submissions. And they're so good at, like, defending, too. Especially Gary Tonin. He's probably has... In grappling, he's probably the best defender of submissions there is. Like, he actually put out an instructional on defending submissions, on escaping, rather. So he's probably got the best evasive tactics than anybody in grappling. On top of that, he's electric, and he always attacks.
Yeah.
And he's very fast, and he can wrestle a little bit. So, my money, and I think he's a little better in the striking, too. But I think Ryan Hall, his striking is so unique, and it would kind of cancel out whatever Gary would do because he does a lot of those kicks to your knees. Does a lot. He's on his bike a lot. So I really don't know because I don't think Ryan Hall submits Gary Tonin. I think Gary Tonin would submit Ryan Hall. If I had to pick one of them and just throw it up in the air.
Yeah, but you didn't even wait for my rule set, which is bare knuckle boxing.
Oh my God. No, I can't predict that. I can't predict that.
No, but yeah, that does kind of go to the point I was going to make to close that out, which is that might turn into just a kickboxing match because they're so dangerous both in that realm. You know, it's kind of how we didn't see a single takedown attempt in Covington versus Usman. We just got a kickboxing match.
I don't know though.
A lot of time those fights play out like that.
Gary Tonin when he fought Palhares in the Polaris, like he was attacking, going forward, and it wasn't a fist fight. The point I'm making is people were worried about getting their leg tangled up by Palhares because he was literally holding it too long.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I think Gary Tonin is confident in attacking anybody in the world in a grappling exchange.
I think he'll do it. I think he'll be the
right.
The
I think Gary Tonin beats him in a jiu-jitsu match, no doubt.
Yeah.
I think 8 out of 10 times at least, Gary Tonin wins that. But yeah, in terms of a fight, I think that, I think Ryan Hall might be a little hesitant to go Eminari roll on Gary Tonin. I think Gary Tonin might think, I might be able to just go, box this guy, But I don't know. That's tough.
I'll tell you what happens. Official Mystic Mac prediction.
Yeah.
They both go for an Eminari roll, they clash heads, and it's a double knockout.
All right. Well, the fight gods have spoken, folks. Moving on.
The prediction king has spoken.
Fight corner roll, ladies and gentlemen. We got Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Okay.
Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell.
Okay.
And Dylan Dennis.
Wow.
Quite a group.
Quite a group indeed.
All around the same size.
All similar personalities except for Thug Nasty, who I think is dope.
Yeah, all personalities.
Eccentric.
All of them characters.
They are eccentric.
So
if I had to pick of these three, I think I'll... this is difficult. Because who do I want to... I gotta... Man.
It's tough.
I'll fight... Tough. Here's what I'll do. I'll fight Sean O'Malley. And just kick him in the knee.
Just toe to the knee. That's what he claims. He's like, Cheeto just toe to the nerve.
I think it's shown to be effective.
Yeah.
I'll kick him in the knee and hope to God he doesn't actually hit me, because he'll put my lights out. But I'll fight him. I get the most out of fighting him. I can't see myself ever wanting to hang out with him.
Okay.
Personally, no offense to him, we just are different. Thug Nasty, I would have to corner because I can't pass up rolling with Dennis as much as no matter what you say about Dylan Dennis. One of the best grapplers on earth, and Marcelo Garcia black belt. And I know he left the gym and all that, but he's a Marcelo Garcia black belt.
Right, he's up there in the top 20.
Yeah,
legitimately in the top 20 best black belts in the world.
I know Gordon Ryan abuses him on social media, but You know Dylan...
Gordon Ryan can abuse anybody on social media.
It's not fair. He's really good at that, and he happens to be the best at his job to do so.
Nobody can beat him.
Yeah,
so
you got to beat him to shut him up, and even then, you might not,
right?
Because he's so good at it. But I would have to roll with Danis, man. I feel like, and plus, you're rolling with Danis, you're probably going and meeting Connor at some point. So if you're rolling regularly with Danis, you're helping in a fight camp. But I don't even care about that. I just want to roll with him for the skills. Like, he could probably teach a lot. And he's a bigger guy, and I'm a bigger guy. So there's probably stuff he does that I can actually translate. Whereas rolling, like in the past, we did like a Ryan Hall and stuff. Those are the smaller guys. I'm never going to play their game.
Right.
That's going to be more of just seeing what's possible. But with a guy like Dylan Danis, who is north of 200 pounds, I imagine, right? He's a big guy. They call him the Bison. He's a big dude, apparently.
I think he's fought at like 175, and I don't think he cuts a ton of weight, and he looks like he could lean out a little bit.
He's definitely in the 190s.
I'd say he's 85 to 95.
Yeah. That's where I want to be in my goal weight. So that kind of game, whatever he plays, probably be what
I think all these guys are similar frames, though. I think, like Sean O'Malley is a similar frame to, like they're all a similar frame size, different builds, different skill sets. But... yeah, I'm gonna. So you're rolling
Sean,
with
rolling with Danis, cornering Doug Nasty.
Okay. All right. I want to fight Sean too, but I wouldn't mind fight week with them. I feel like it would be funny. I think they would be entertaining. I think they are.
That's for sure.
They're characters, they're like Cheech and Chong, Beavis and Butthead. Like they are like a little cartoon show, and I used to be rubbed the wrong way, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, Sean O'Malley and Tim Welch, his coach, they're like best friends, but like a coach and trainer and student roles as well.
Yeah.
But they just have this like partner in crime vibe that I used to be like, oh, these guys are just like dumb, and I kind of used to hate on it from the outside, but then, the more nuanced I realized they were, and like their preparation and like the holistic lifestyle that they live and just their approach to the fight game, I started to see more into who they really are, and then like they went on, like Paul Chek, he's a guy that I respect a lot. They went on his podcast, and so I've seen like a little bit of a different side to them that, kind of pulled back the curtain. But yeah, I'm going too deep into that. But I think that they could be cool to hang out with for a fight week, and you can learn some things because I think they have a unique approach. So yeah, I guess I'll fight Sean though. All that being said, I want to fight him because I want to submit him. I think of that I could take him down and sub him. And then this is really tough for me because Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell, has such a crazy grappling style. The way he mixes his jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and he's just finishing people with twisters and just using the twister regularly in MMA grappling exchanges is like something that's spooky, like unheard of. It's weird. So I kind of want to learn the magic behind that, get a feel for that, really feel it and roll with him. And then Danis, I guess that would put me in his corner, which is going to be weird. But I think would be all right because at the end of the day, I think we could talk a lot of jiu-jitsu that week. I think that behind the scenes, Danis wouldn't be as atrocious to be around.
Danis is like a Colby.
Yeah.
That's all for the cameras, for sure.
Yeah, I think Connor doesn't bring a guy like Danis mid-career onto his team and into his corner.
No.
That's not how that works. So I think there is something to be said for Danis. And I would like to learn some more about that. That brings us to our next fight corner role, which is, all the three front runners for the most powerful intergalactic man in the Megaverse. I was speaking to the universe this morning, and my chakras aligned. And yeah,
I'm gonna let that one slide, Joey.
Yeah, I don't know. But here's your universal leaders.
Okay.
That you have to put into this fight corner role hierarchy, which is President Trump, what's his name? Joe Biden and Kanye West. Jesus.
So, all three potentially future presidents.
Yeah.
And
potential
emperors of the universe.
Messiahs.
Yeah. There we go.
The highest ideal for humanity.
Ah, yes.
You know, they all have the potential of that in them.
Yeah.
You know, I really.
I see it. All right. Well, let's. On that note, let me give my three.
Yeah. Now that I'm done speaking spiritual truths.
I've got a fight. This is tough because I can't see myself fighting Joe Biden because I mean that's sad. Like what's happening with him. And
it's though.
But then fighting Donald
Perry
Trump,
and Conor McGregor's stock are up.
But fighting Donald Trump is low-hanging fruit. Everybody expects you to pick Donald Trump to fight him because, nobody likes Donald Trump. Well, clearly somebody likes him because he got elected.
Yeah, he's the
But
president.
just in case you were wondering, there is a other half of America who do like him. So watch your tone. I'm not saying I like him. I'm just saying some people
racist
you love.
white people like him.
Some people you love. Some people you love dearly who are good people, Joey. Anyway.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Look, I'll fight Kanye West, man.
I like that.
Which breaks my soul because Kanye, bro, I love Kanye.
Yeah, me
But
too.
I feel like both of us are going to be respectful in that press conference because, he's a believer. I'm a believer. And we're both going to be, like, giving glory to God. And then we'll find out who's God's favorite, I guess, if that's how that works. But can you imagine Kanye's entrance? I hope I come out first. So I can just be out
Kanye's
there, bro.
coming out. Oh, my God.
I hope I come out first.
The Life of Pablo tour, the floating stage, Kanye's coming out on it.
I'm coming out first.
Kanye's coming out on the floating stage.
I have to see Kanye's entrance from the octagon. I'm going to roll with Donald Trump because that'll just be special.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to corner Joe Biden because I feel like he'll need all the help he can get. And unfortunately, I won't be able to help him. So, he's probably going to be fighting
CM Punk.
Oh, we're good. I got you, Joe.
Yeah. No.
I'm going to get Joe right for a CM Punk fight.
Yeah, you got that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, here I go. I'm going to give this a shot. So I'm not medically qualified to corner Joe Biden. So I'm just putting that out there off rip. I'm not signing off on that. I'm not getting in that corner. I'm not supporting that. I'm fighting Joe Biden. Hey.
You're not signing
I'm not going to sign off as like supporting it, but if he's signing a death waiver to fight somebody, yeah, sure, I'll sign a death waiver too and fight you.
You'll put him out of his business.
Yeah, so I'll take that fight. And I think at this point, it's good timing. He's got a good amount of buzz around him in the fight game.
It's a money fight.
Yeah, his press conferences with Trump have, just got him out there in the media. I think he's got a good enough amount of hype.
Unorthodox style, too. Don't underestimate him.
Unorthodox.
No, yeah. Very unorthodox.
Respect Joe. So I guess that puts me... That's tough.
Oh, I know what you're picking.
Do I want to be in...
Foregone conclusion.
Do I want to be in the cabinet with Trump all week leading up to the fight, or do I want to be in the stew with Jesus all week leading up to the fight?
We know what the answer is, Joey.
Yeah, I gotta go with Kanye. I gotta corner Ye.
Yeah, forget it, bro.
I mean, I love Kanye. You think he's crazy? You think he's a genius? Whatever. I love him unconditionally. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
When he cusses out paparazzi, or he's the most devout Christian, or whatever extreme he's been at, I've always had love for Kanye for some reason. I have some unconditional love and appreciation for him. I think his insanity and his genius are both a entangled gift to the world that is Kanye West.
Agreed.
And I think everything aside, there's more genius than anything, and more light in that than anything else. So yeah, all those things considered, yeah, I'm in Kanye's corner.
Go listen to his "Put On" verse if you want. If you don't know about Kanye, go listen to his "Put On" verse.
Yeah.
Then go listen to "College Dropout," and then listen to "Go Hard." Remember that song, DJ Khaled?
Oh.
Go Hard, T-Pain. That was a banger. High school football.
Yeah. Oh.
Go listen to that. Go listen to that.
After I listen to Go Hard, CTE does not exist. Brain trauma does not exist for a 3-hour window after you listen to Go Hard. I swear to God.
Bro, you're headhunting.
I'll fight Deontay Wilder after listening to Go Hard, and I'll hands down head movement style. I have no fear in the world. Tyson Fury made one change for the rematch. He listened to Go Hard in the locker room. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
And Put On.
Yeah. Oh.
So Kanye's responsible for 2 of the greatest songs to motivate
and one of the greatest workout routines of all time.
To motivate.
If you don't know his workout tape.
Bro, you guys gotta stop sleeping on Kanye, bro. All he does is drop hits. Listen to Wash Us in the Blood. That goes so hard.
Blood on the Leaves.
Bro, all of it.
Oh.
All of it. Kanye's a beast, bro.
Yeah. The Life of Pablo.
And he's repping Jesus, so you know I rock with Kanye heavy.
He,
now I always rocked with Kanye, but now I rock heavy with Kanye.
Yeah.
Like I really like.
Now he got Christ in his cup,
and he's still dope with music, and he's still putting out bangers.
Oh, and his vibe, his flow hasn't altered.
Forget about it. Still... People were hating it like crazy. I know I'm interrupting your Fight Corner roll, but people were hating like crazy on the Jesus is King album, or the was it Jesus is King? Yeah, people were hating like crazy. Like, I saw somebody say, what if Eve made apple juice? That's such a stupid line. I'm like, you clearly have never watched Barbershop if you think that's a stupid line. You've never watched Barbershop if you think, what if Eve made apple juice is a stupid line. It's a little deeper than you think. Continue, Joey.
So, yeah, that puts me in Ye's corner. Yeah, I'm in his corner no matter what phase he's going through.
That means you're cornering him to beat me. It's tough, man, because I'm coming for him, bro.
Wow.
I'm coming for him.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna be huge. That's gonna be polarizing.
Very. We're not gonna say anything mean to each other, and yet it's gonna be the most polarizing event in probably human history.
Yeah, and I think like, just out of respect for like the collective group, you have to go train with Trevor Whitman for this fight camp, like Usman, So just out of respect for the collective group that you and Kanye have created, you just have to, go train out there for this fight.
What's tough is that I'm bringing in such a huge fan base, and Kanye not so much, and so it's gonna be a little lopsided as far as like popularity, and I think people will be wanting me to win more, but I think throughout the fight Kanye will win the crowd over.
So some enlightening insight on that matchup right there. I've got Biden. I'm knocking him out. Sorry, Grandpa Joe. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. And what, you're in his corner?
Yeah.
So you're cornering Biden against
I'm in his
me?
Corner, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
So we're basically determining who represents the Democratic Party.
Bro, we're coming for you, bro. We're coming for you. I got Biden working nothing but.
So you versus Kanye, me versus Biden. The winner's fight. The winner of that fight is the Democratic Party representative.
No, the winner of that fight's president.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot at play here, bro. You don't even know. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that meeting. And that brings it, the conclusion. In my rolling match, I'm gonna solve the mystery that nobody can. Really what this pandemic has been about, and that is what the hell is holding Trump's hairpiece on. And when we roll, I promise you, I'm coming for it, Trump. Like, you can't stop me. I'm gonna pass your guard. You're not going to be able to stop me from getting to that hairpiece. And it's coming off. I mean, in my opinion, but who knows? Maybe I get there and I find out that jiu-jitsu doesn't work and Trump's hairpiece is really the absolute.
Dude, you see what hurricane winds have been unable to do to that thing, bro.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bring you're gonna have to bring your entire game, bro.
Yeah.
Your whole game.
Oh yeah.
Don't be afraid to use lapels.
I was gonna say I'm wearing a gi. This
you have
isn't
to
the
use
gi.
lapels.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's got to take place in Brazil though.
Oh yeah, yeah, it has to.
No Secret Service, none of that.
No.
None of that.
No, this is
we
a
gotta
fight.
get to the bottom of this. Yeah.
Yeah, this is in a backyard somewhere.
Maybe Fight Island. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it in Fight
Because
Island.
Dana and Trump, he'll feel safe there.
Yeah.
It's Abu Dhabi, which is basically like Mars.
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it. That's exactly where you do it.
Well, now that we've solved world hunger, the fight game, and politics, so what? I'm going to go get the cure for COVID. I should have that by lunch. What are you doing today?
Well, you should just change my plans. Now I'm going to go get COVID so that you have someone to test the cure on.
Okay.
So just give me a minute.
Oh, well, I have COVID.
Oh, you do?
So, yeah, you're good.
Oh,
so you're free for the day.
What a relief.
Due to the transitive property, you do too.
Awesome.
So, yeah, you're...
Awesome.
You're done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,